What up, Mr. Paul Cicala? How you doing, sir?
Hey, pretty good. How about yourself? I'm looking forward to the debut of your movie on Friday at the Harkins on the South Side.
All we have, brother, all we have. Let's go ahead and talk about the
Yes.
Tucson film, All We Have. So, you guys saw a sneak peek of the movie the other night, and so just wanted to get your guys' two cents on that before we jump into all the elements.
No, no, it was great. I'll tell you one thing I appreciate as being somebody that was born and raised in Tucson, a Tucson native, somebody that feels like sometimes the media neglects media. I mean, every portion of the media, whether it be cinema, journalism, TV news, whatever. But I feel like sometimes the underrepresented areas of Tucson don't get represented in film and the media. We're talking about the South Side, the West Side, many times the Latino culture or the heritage that we have here and the border Southwest and in Tucson going back to its founding in the basically the 18th century and the 1700s, even
Yeah.
before the indigenous or right after the, obviously before that we have our Native American and indigenous presence. And I loved how you reflected the true diversity of Tucson, which includes all races and all backgrounds and all parts in your film. And I was impressed.
And Paul, so what does that say about Tucson? Because, a lot of times you'll have filmmakers who, it's understandable, they run off to LA, New Mexico, New York, etc. But are there tons of stories here to tell in the old Pueblo?
Big time. And I appreciate you because I know you're a California native,
Yeah.
but you have come here to Tucson. You're married here now. You've lived here several years of your life, and this is your home. And you have taken on this project as a Tucsonan, as somebody that has that pride, and that means a lot to me. And I know from my own dabbling in filmmaking, not as much as you, but I've been associated with more non-fiction type productions and
Yeah.
documentary. But I know how hard it is to put something together, and you want to try to utilize local talent as much as you can. And sometimes you have to get people from other states to come in. And I love how you use these Tucsonans and these native Tucsonans and people that are really true to the game, so to say,
Yeah.
in the roles. And I really liked it.
I'm very blessed, bro, because ever since I moved to Tucson, the film communities embraced me, Tucson embraced me, and so it made me feel at home right away. And so that embrace is very much reflected in the elements that came together to make all we have. But so let's go ahead and jump in, Paul. Let's jump into the trailer, just so that we know what we're talking about, and then we'll come back out to us and chit chat about it. Okay?
Here, take my hand. This is it.
Oh! What's your problem? Yeah, I hope the rest of your stuff falls too.
Sorry about earlier.
Can I help you with something?
Do you want to ride?
You used to owe me.
What?
Yeah, the ride.
Taxi from Miss Natalia? Where would you like to go today?
Do you like riddles? Surprise!
Are you two dating? If you hurt her in any way, oh,
Look, man, you don't know me. But I suggest you get that macho bullshit out of my face before I put you in your place, homie.
I just tried to make some little shit. Apparently, you don't know me.
I'm falling in love with you.
What did I say? Did I say something wrong?
Here, take my hand. This is it.
Paul, so that was the trailer for All We Have, brother. So we were just talking about that off camera, like everything that went into the trailer, and you kind of nailed it when you said you kind of have to make a small version of the movie with the three-act structure of your introduction, your conflict, and kind of a resolution, but without giving away any of course, the juicy details of the movie and the surprises, the twists, the turns, and whatnot. Um, but yeah, man, that was all we have right there, Paul. So back to Tucson and Tucson stories. I'm a big believer in Tucson because when I started telling Tucson stories on the journalism side, I learned a long time ago that there are so many stories to tell, and whether it's Tucson in general, definitely a lot of stories out of the South Side, right? What can you add to that, Paul?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. And you know what I liked about this film as well is all the elements that you use from Tucson. And if you're from Tucson, anybody who's seeing this Facebook Live right now, I recommend you go out there because I feel like sometimes when all the movies that have been filmed in Tucson in the past, and we know that Tucson actually has a history. Anything from like Revenge of the Nerds, a lot of those '80s
Yep.
films. Can't Buy Me Love, old Tucson days. Just Tombstone type scenes and all that stuff. We have a lot and anytime I watch those films and I say, oh man, I recognize that. Oh, that's my hometown. That's the Sonoran Desert. And this thing obviously takes place in Tucson and it's full of it. And I appreciate that. Like anything from, your guys' scenes downtown to,
Hmm.
I recognize Hotel Congress in the background a lot. The playground, it looks like you guys shot some of those roof scenes, especially
Yeah,
with Paulo, the borracho in it,
yeah,
the drunk guy, the stuff with A Mountain. I think I noticed El Charro Steakhouse downtown.
yeah,
And if I'm not mistaken, even I'm assuming you guys shot something in Rocky Point too, which is almost like our own backyard here, the beach scene.
yeah.
Um, and then Tucson High was in it as well. And I don't know, I love that. And then going back to what you're saying about the talent that we have in Tucson by you utilizing those actors and not just that, but I recognize people that I know here in Tucson in it as maybe even some of the extras or some of the minor characters like Alfonso Saúl, who's his own filmmaker and he's a journalist and now works in the Phoenix area as a
Yeah,
photographer. Or your wife Maribel, I saw her in some of the scenes, and
yeah,
just a lot of different people. I thought it was really cool that you utilized people like that, and not only that, going back to the pride as a Tucsonan to see a film like this, particularly if you're a native Tucsonan and you truly realize the culture and the history that we have in the old pueblo. And I know a lot of films, unfortunately, go overboard on some of the stereotypes
yeah,
of the Latino family.
yeah,
And in your case, for the movie at least, I feel like it went past that because you started the beginning with the main character who falls in love. And he was starting off as a janitor. And then some people might think like, oh, that's a stereotype, but it's reality too.
yeah.
Next thing you know,
But
you might think that
there's a reason behind that, Paul. There's a
no,
reason
big
behind
time. And
why he starts off as a janitor and
yes,
yeah,
and he's a tough guy. And
yeah,
he's a tough guy, so to say. He's not. I mean, like he's not this macho, but he's a tough.
yeah,
But it shows that he's also sensitive and he can fall in love. And not only that though, but I mean, here's this guy that wants to be a lawyer, as you mentioned. He
yeah,
started off, and also the stereotype could be that he's rough around the edges, that maybe he grew up in the hood or whatever. So I don't know. I just think it's good, and it reinforces some of the positive aspects of our community here in Tucson, and I loved it. And it also took some of the realities too. Like I feel like anytime you've ever been dating a woman, there's always that jealous family member, a jealous cousin, a jealous brother,
oh
or
yeah,
even sometimes
yeah,
the father. And in this case, Paulo, man, he did a great job. I was
yeah,
really impressed with Fausto, who I know also at a
yeah,
personal level, who played the part of Paulo. I was really impressed at how well he did as well. But I don't know. I think if you are a Tucsonan or even somebody that just moved here that kind of wants to see stuff and you're developing a pride for the Sonoran Desert and what we have here in the old Pueblo, you definitely got to see this film. Not only that, but you got to support local filmmakers like Edgar Ibarra.
and let me see. Renee Fernando Acuna says also really refreshing to see more Latinx representation on screen. So that's exactly what I was going to talk about, going off of your point, Paul. So I didn't want to show stereotypes or in
Uh,
writing, in screenwriting, it says if you're going to present a stereotype, present it to break it, to show us something different.
yeah,
And so that's what I try to do with the story, with the characters and whatnot, because more than anything, I wanted to just show real human beings with problems, complexities, highs and lows. And so that's kind of what I wanted to do with the Latinx characters in All We Have.